friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're gonna do a comparison of two smartphones below the 8K price segment, the Infinix Hot 8 with the Moto E6s. The Moto E6s is recently announced device which is priced 7,999 for the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage, while the Infinix Hot 8 was announced a few weeks back, and this is again having 4GB RAM and 64GB storage, which is priced 6,999 right now. It's an introductory pricing, but it's still priced 6,999 right now. Now both have the Helio P22 octa-core processor and have a lot of similarities, including the RAM and performance aspect. Now let's see which is better here. So right now there is a 1,000 rupees difference between these two devices. So in terms of the experience, how it matters, let's find out in this detailed comparison. So first let's have a look at the design and build quality. Now looking at the front panel, you can see that both have the water drop notch, so they are almost equal in terms of the design of the front panel. You can see that the bottom bezels are also quite similar. Both have exactly the same bezels. Now side bezels are also almost similar, we would say. Now the difference comes in the back panel. We have a triple rear camera on the Infinix Hot 8, while we have a dual camera, and also the back panel on the Moto E6s is a glossy one. It's a graphite color. It's a pretty glossy one. It's kind of unique finish actually, and it has a dual camera setup. We have the fingerprint scanner on both the phones, and this looks quite similar in terms of the material quality, but this is the Moto E6s being this glossy finish attracts a lot of fingerprint. Actually, you can see that even with limited time of usage, you have to clean occasionally because it attracts a lot of fingerprint. But the Infinix Hot 8, even though it attracts fingerprint, it is not evident actually because of the plastic material. So that's the design aspect. Now we feel design is definitely subjective, so some people might like the Infinix Hot 8 while some might like the Moto E6s, but both the devices have quite decent design and build quality. Both are made of plastic material. Now next let's move on to the display. So both the phones have an HD plus resolution display. Now we have 6.52 inches HD plus resolution display on the Infinix Hot 8, while we have a smaller 6.1 inches form factor on the Moto E6s. Now both have quite good viewing angles and colors, and the brightness levels are also pretty good. We feel that the brightness levels are a tad better on the Infinix Hot 8, but not by a huge margin. But we feel overall the display quality feels quite good on both the phones. Both the brands have given priority for display aspect, even though they are in the budget segment. So there isn't much of a difference, but then you have the advantage of a smaller display, so pixels per inch is slightly better on the Moto E6s. Now neither of them offer any sort of protection on the display. Now otherwise they are quite decent displays in this price segment. Now if you're a person who loves watching multimedia content and watching or playing games, then the Infinix Hot 8 with a larger display makes better sense. Now next let's move on to the software. Now this is one area where these two devices differ a lot. We have the XOS on the Infinix Hot 8. So it's a custom UI from Infinix, and it offers some additional features. It's a customized UI. You can see that it offers themes and other features like gestures and some navigational customization, lock screen customizations are included. So that's the UI. But then when we reviewed the Hot 8, we mentioned that the UI is a bit sluggish, especially with a lot of pre-installed apps. So you can see that a lot of pre-installed apps are there. Few of them can be removed, but then still the UI feels a bit sluggish and the optimization is not that great. This is one area where the Moto E6s does a really good job. It has a stock Android, even though it's not under the Android One platform. So you can see that it is completely stocked, no bloatwares absolutely, and the performance is definitely better in terms of the software experience. So no bloatwares, and the UI also feels quite good. So in terms of software, we feel the Moto E6s is our pick. Now next moving on to the performance. Now these devices are powered by the same processor, the Helio P22 octa-core processor. Both are coupled with 4GB RAM and 64GB storage. Now in terms of day-to-day performance, neither of them have any advantage. Both are equally good in terms of performance, and we didn't see any sort of major issues. Even though Helio P22 is quite a decent chipset for the price segment, it definitely does a decent job altogether, considering that it has 4GB RAM. So you won't see some major issues here. But as I said before, the UI of the Infinix Hot 8 being a bit sluggish, you might find minor hiccups here and there. But Moto E6s is quite fluid in terms of performance in day-to-day usage. Now gaming experience, neither of them are superior. Both have the same processor again, which is not a great device, a great processor for gaming experience. So you can't expect really great gaming abilities, but then you can play PUBG Mobile with the lowest graphics settings. So that is possible, but don't expect higher gaming abilities from either of these devices. Now both the devices have a fingerprint scanner and a face unlock, so they are quite similar in terms of the aspects. Now the call quality and the speaker performance looks quite similar again on both the phones. There isn't much to differentiate between the performance. Now next, let's move on to the cameras. So we have a triple rear camera setup on the Infinix Hot 8. We have a primary 13 megapixel camera, then we have a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and a third low light sensor is included with quad LED flash. Now on the Moto E6S we have a 13 megapixel primary camera, and we also have a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Now both the phones have an 8 megapixel camera for selfies. Now talking about the camera quality, so when we tested the camera abilities of these two phones, we found that the camera performance on the Infinix Hot 8 was slightly better than the Moto E6S. So considering that they are priced below 8K price segment, so you can't expect stellar performances, but for the price segment both does a pretty good job overall. Details are good, but we feel the Infinix Hot 8 does better with color reproduction, overall details and sharpness levels were quite good for a 6999 price phone. Now even the low light performance also better with the Infinix Hot 8 with a dedicated low light sensor, and apart from that you also get a decent selfie performance on both the phones. So while Moto E6S is quite good in terms of camera performance, the Infinix Hot 8 is the better choice in terms of the camera performance. Finally, moving on to the battery performance. So we have a 5000 mAh capacity battery on the Infinix Hot 8, while we have 3000 mAh capacity battery on the Moto E6S. So clearly the Infinix Hot 8 is the winner in terms of battery performance. Almost 2000 mAh capacity additional you get on the Infinix Hot 8. The Moto E6S can go for a day with a moderate usage, but Infinix Hot 8, even with a bigger display, you can get almost like 1.5 days. So that's where Infinix Hot 8 has an advantage in terms of the battery. So now summing up, which is the better device here? Now if you look at the value for money aspect, Infinix Hot 8 definitely makes sense because it is priced 6,999 while the Moto E6S is priced 7,999. Now if you look at the different aspect, design and display quite similar, both have a similar performance there. Now software Moto E6S wins because it has the stock UI. Even in terms of performance also Moto E6S has slight advantage, but camera and battery we feel Infinix Hot 8 has the advantage because Infinix has triple camera sensor with a dedicated low light sensor. So in that aspect we feel Infinix wins, and also battery capacity is larger, so hence battery performance is also better on the Infinix Hot 8. So overall we feel Infinix Hot 8 is our pick probably because it is 1K cheaper and offers better camera and better battery life, even though the software experience could have been better on the Infinix Hot 8. But Moto E6S is for people who love stock Android with a good performance overall, and the pricing isn't bad either. 464 is priced 7,999. So that is a detailed comparison of the Moto E6S with the Infinix Hot 8. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the red subscribe button for more videos. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.